Dylan, is it?
It is, yeah.
Hi, this is Ryan from Irish Students Against Fascism. Would you have a few minutes to talk?
Yeah, I'm walking down the road there, so, perfect for me, because...
Okay. So basically who we are and what we do, we're sort of a group of anti-fascists on campuses, north and south of the border. We're aligned with the sort of Union Students Ireland, obviously below the board. And basically what we are hoping to do is sort of compile a sort of database of fascist activists on campus and elsewhere, and begin to sort of publicise them and make sure there's repercussions. Obviously with a lot of sort of branches and sort of NGOs and journalism. Obviously just kind of doing the stuff that people in journalism, people in civil society can't do, and coordinating with sort of street groups with people that can confront them in the street. But obviously there's a lot of overlap between ourselves and you guys, and we're happy to work with. But yeah, tell me about yourself. I obviously for myself, you're committed to sort of anti-fascism and all.
I'm kind of a stranger. I'm not actually aligned to any group as such. I'm more like I sent out pictures of me with that group in Cork, the FCCB. We're collective of Cork City fans, but they'd be very strong. Connolly Youth Movement. One member. There's another lad. One of the lads isn't even tied to any group. And he was named on top of my head. Moved back from Spain, but he lived in Madrid, and he went to a lot of football matches in Madrid, and saw him doing kind of football over there. He's actually Real Madrid. Okay. So that's where where I got kind of introduced to it in itself. And one of my friends, he's the Irish Examiner. He'll be there on Saturday. Actually.
So what's his surname? I think I may know him. Okay, sorry, wrong. But he's Irish Examiner anyway.
He works in the production department.
Okay, grand.
And he'll be fairly. He's been kind of more involved in the UK side of it, and he said he was on the actual front line against Britain first, and
okay,
the kind of the worst of the worst.
Yeah, like myself, I kind of cut my teeth with this business sort of in sort of Tower Hamlets. There's a sort of residual EDL presence, but it's good to have sort of solid contacts in the sort of media sphere. But obviously you're happy to potentially cross ethical boundaries with this stuff, because we kind of all know the business we're in.
Yeah, one of my friends. You know.
Is he? By any chance?
I don't know. He tried to get me to join a group one night, but to be honest, he was very drunk when he did, and he had a court date coming up, so he didn't want to get too involved. Okay.
Obviously, it's a business we're dealing with, but you're happy to get potentially physical with these people, potentially harass these people, obviously with the usual precautions.
I'd be happy to harass people. I'm not interested in getting physical with people, just because of working in the media and journalism. It's a very
we need plausible deniability. I'm kind of just starting off in sort of the media sphere as well, but we have other people for that. But it's just a question we ask people, sort of student unions, just before they kind of get involved with us, that they're 100% ideologically, if albeit they have sort of professional qualms or professional issues. But you're 100% with us on that in that regards.
Yeah, I've no bother getting vocal people. I'm a football fan. I'm used to scream abuse of people.
Okay, that's grand. A bit of a vagam man myself, but obviously we work a lot with kind of Bows supporters, and there's a strong sort of anti-fascist presence on terraces.
Daniel Lambert? So
what's the name again?
Daniel Lambert. He's the chairperson of Bows. He runs Bang Bang Cafe in Dublin.
I think I may have been at a anti-DP event. There was I'm more sort of terrorist supporters or whatever, or people on the We Know. But I think we may have been in the same room or whatever. But it's a strong sort of anti-fascist presence there. In most clubs, there's absolutely no place for the far right on terraces. I guess tell me more about sort of the first city, or Cork City Brigade rather.
I got involved in more because it's more we were kind of ideologically similar, if you get me. I suppose it kind of was a big wake-up call for me, is because anti-racism became my kind of bread and butter. But about, I think it was 2 years ago, we played Limerick in a match. One of my friends was actually playing for Limerick at the time, and he was playing striker. And he won a penalty for Limerick, and a fella shouts out the Edinburgh behind me. So I was I didn't know how to react to it. Yeah. But about 6 months previous, I was at a GA match. Someone called the same player, the Edinburgh.
It's not on. It's absolutely no quarter for that. Even if you don't confront people like that physically, you kind of have to reprimand them really. But in terms of any actions you guys have partaken in?
The lads were at the march 2 weeks ago from Dublin, or 2 or 3 weeks ago now.
Okay.
I couldn't make that tonight because I was covering shifts of work. But we kind of organised our own fundraisers as well. Like we did one last October for Cork Migrant Centre. We raised like €700, I think. That was through our own raffle and music night, so that was quite good.
Okay.
We're trying to get. We only formed about a year ago, but we're trying to get our name out there more. Like,
yeah, it's a young group. I try to keep certainly this side of the country kind of keep a ear to the ground, but it's good to see people popping up. Like,
because we're trying to build links ourselves. Like even we were saying ourselves, Saturday is a great day for us because it actually shows people that we're not just willing to stand there on the fence and just kind of say, "Oh, I'm Antifa." That's it.
Yeah.
But we could actually have a physical presence.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, unfortunately. Fortunately or unfortunately. But in terms of any sort of other actions, sort of physically or just in terms of sort of even propagandizing, have you done much? Or?
I wouldn't be that side of the group as such, to be honest. Follow the group on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay.
It's just because I'm so involved in the media side of things at times, especially in League Vernon football. I can't be seen to kind of like be... I've done kind of stuff backhand where I've highlighted... I've done a few pieces about the League Vernon fan culture, and I specifically call out that group to kind of put a picture out there of what they do, because we have like a flag that's like a pride flag with the Cork City crest inside it, things like that. It's so... There is a little bias myself, I'm not going to lie to you with that, but...
Okay.
So I kind of have to step back in that regard, just because. Yeah,
like we all sort of have, we all just have kind of careers to kind of protect, really. Just in terms of like what you sent me the picture of the 4 lads there, but what would be the sort of numbers you guys would have?
We have 10 of us, I think, in total.
Okay.
But it varies. Like if we have an event like that one for the Cork Migrant Centre, I think there was 30 people turned up to it. But we're very kind of like, we're at the centre, we're very large wave in Cork. Like, some of the lads will be very involved in Sinn Féin, some of the lads will be very involved in the Conda Youth Movement. One or two will be linked to People Before Profit or Solidarity. They kind of confuse me, all the brackets. And
it's a broad left coalition. Like certainly like PPP in Galway and Ogre Sinn Féin, they have a bunch of about 40 solid activists, and they can kind of corral the sort of far right on the street with that. But like even 10 people, 10 good researchers, or 10 people with a head on their shoulders can do a lot of damage. But in terms of like, in terms of just generally just more sort of context around the sort of Cork area in sort of NGOs and journalism, would there be any sort of similar names or?
Similar names?
Or similar like-minded, anti-fascist inclined personalities?
Check out Childish Sandino on Twitter. That's the Examiner. But he does. It's a completely private account. Well, not it's a public account, but he just uses it to call out people on Twitter.
Okay.
Childish Sandino. Well, check. It's FCCB. I'll send you on the link as well. First Cork City Brigade's Twitter page.
Yeah, I think they we mutually started following, so I may follow up. Just regarding the future event in the Flash event.
What I find very strange about that event on Saturday is there's no group actually coming forward and saying they're organising it. Because there's one Facebook page, it's like Irish Nationalist West Cork, it's something like that. And
we got a lead on it. Your man was speaking on a podcast, a racist podcast last week. One of our lads was listening in, and he's kind of claiming sort of National Party membership, but we've yet to see any sort of public endorsement. But himself, he's a sort of accounting student. He lives actually near sort of Waterford, but we have his employer and whatever. But what we're planning is to kind of get intel, get pictures on the day, and approach his sort of employers and hopefully just nip him in the bud. He doesn't seem that bright, but just be there for intel, and just it'll be a good occasion to kind of get the sort of scene mobilised in Cork anyway.
Because even in itself, there isn't a very strong kind of like fascist right wing kind of like grouping in Cork, like. Kind of like the biggest kind of like event we've had in the last year or two was the UCC capitation referendum for student media. That's probably the extent of it.
What was that regards to the referendum?
There was a referendum in UCC last year to increase funding for student media.
Okay.
And Free Speech Ireland tried to shut it down, and there was a big kind of...
That's yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of any residual groups, I know the two of the main ones, your man, he's probably minor at this stage. There's Barrett with the NP, there's our exit, but like there's no sort of major fascist presence. Like in sort of Belfast, they're kind of dealing with sort of loyalist types who kind of own property, but for us it's a bit easier. But yeah, any sort of contacts, if you want to send on some names over DM, even in sort of the NGO world.
Because there's no real kind of like grouping in Cork as such. But there is people out there, like I know he has his own group.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have his number on my phone.
If you want to send it on, I'll hopefully have a burner in a few days, or a friend of mine, Patter, he can ring on, and we can kind of link on and just share intel. Just even if it's a few Facebook pages we can share of like fash activists. His group is more sort of I know there's a involved with anti-fascism. I know he's a kind of a I'm not sure if it's the same.
I think he's as well. To be honest, we only ever speak of football matches or like through the group chat, which is usually just like we're always thick about something, but like it's raw left wing.
Would he be involved in any down Cork way?
Yeah, same way.
Cool. Yeah, it's probably the same guy. I think I know his YouTube channel as well. But yeah, I think he's gonna. But if you want to send on his number, that will save me just finding it through contacts, and we can kind of talk directly.
Because I know he can't go near demonstrations for like the next year, I think. Because of. Did you see the TV show I Am Immigrant?
That was when your man got slapped around, and I think it was 2016.
One of the lads just slapped the man around.
Oh, fair play. Was there any other lads in Cork that we have to buy a pint for, or that was involved?
Sure. I think he said it was two lads from Dublin. He posted it in their group chat weeks ago to forward the lads' names. So they had a GoFundMe for their legal costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I know one of the lads from Dublin anyway. I think they were kind of Bows and sort of Irish in Liverpool who partook in it. But yeah, if you want to send on any sort of like numbers, we can kind of reach out, we can share intel, and hopefully we can link you guys up like with the rest of the country. I think Galway's got an excellent scene.
I don't know personally. We just know, we kind of half know each other through Twitter and Sinn Féin kind of circles. Mm-hmm. But she's done a great job up there, especially with, like, I know knows his brother in PVP.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They did a great job up there 2 weeks ago when the National Party had that display in Ayr Square, and Justin Barrett. Is that Justin Barrett, isn't it? Or?
Yeah, it's a small valley, got milkshake. She's a great one. I was talking to her there, but it's if even we get something like that in Cork, like we can nip these people in the bud. You mentioned sort of media names, just going through this things to discuss. Yeah, if you want to send on names and numbers of people in Cork, Forest City, Brigade rather, sorry about that. We can coordinate a bit more. Just you mentioned over DMs, your man who was had this sort of legal issue, that wasn't it? Or?
Yeah, he's banned from certain length of time for going near demonstrations.
Okay.
Because I think he got a suspended sentence, but he had to do 100 hours of community service, and he's banned from attending demonstrations for a certain length of time.
Yeah, he's the guy, the sort of Cork. Just some sort of I think I mean, what do you have any idea of his surname? I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head.
It's Oswald on Facebook.
Okay. I'll be able to. If you want to send on his number, we can talk to him about organisation. But yeah, any sort of names of, you mentioned sort of like-minded people in the sort of journalist scene. Any sort of names pass on. Ourselves, we're hoping to get a website up just for like individual fascists. Like we posted your man from Cavan, the sort of activist, the MP lad, and his employment details. But stuff like that is what we want, because like for every one we kind of knock out, we silence about 10 more. But if you guys have any intel, feel free to reach out to us or over DM or email or whatever.
I think the lads in better just they know better names. Like we know Cork City is a very strange club where like the club as the way it kind of exists is very kind of left wing, like with supporters own and all that kind of stuff. But there's another group, the kind of like the colleges, the corner boys, are kind of like our hooligan group. But we know a few of those will be on the opposite side on Saturday, but we don't know exactly.
And they would be a fascist group, would they, or a far right? The quarter boys.
We class them more as right wing, kind of like. If I to give you an example here, about 2 years ago we played. 2 years ago we played Bose up in Daymon Park. And at the time, Bose had a player who had a conviction for sexual assault.
Yeah, I think I know the story. The lad, the far right, was kind of propagating that shit.
Yeah, and there was the Confederate flag every time he went up.
Okay, yeah, well, it's obviously something to kind of monitor, even if they're not overtly fascistic. But yeah, any sort of, if even over DMs you want to send on the number, we can hopefully reach out soon enough. But yeah, it's good to know we have. You're with the Irish Mayor, are you, or what's?
Do you know Dublin Live?
Dublin Live. I probably know the website. Yeah.
I'm with the Cork version, Corpio. Over the same company, the Irish Mayor. So like we're kind of one of the same.
Okay. So is it owned by just Jakura? It's owned by the Irish Mayor, or?
Yeah. So like the Mayor have their own journalists, and then we kind of fill in the blanks then for everything else.
Okay. It's good to know that we have a strong anti-fascist voice in sort of journalism. Like it's a great use in sort of student politics and sort of student journalism already in the NGO world. But yeah, pass on those names and numbers, and we'll reach out to them, and hopefully we can kind of link up with them down south.
I feel like Cork seems very just like there seems to be a very strong voice in Galway and Dublin, but like I feel like Cork in itself seems very just like on its own.
Yeah.
Comparison.
It's a good time to mobilise because you say that, but we haven't really got a fascist presence. Like Dublin, sadly, has it's a pretty measurable fascist presence, as seen with the rally. And Belfast.
How many were on the opposing side that day?
The far right side, I'd say 250, and there was about 300 anti-racists. Like they were surprising numbers for us. Like considering like we were looking at Pegida a few years ago. But there was 250 of them anyway. But there was, the sort of National Party had mobilised them in our exit as well. But it was worrying, because like that was 10 scared people 3 years ago, and it was 250 now in Leinster House.
Yeah.
But obviously send on any names and numbers, and we're happy to sort of reach out to people. We'll hopefully be launching our website soon enough. But any sort of intel you have, we'll send down your way.
Yeah.
Cool. Pleasure talking, and be sure to send on those names.
You're doing Saturday, yeah?
It should be. Either myself or a few lads. It's 2 p.m, yeah?
I think it's 1 or 2 is the counter. I'll check there because I have the screenshot there. Like there's a Facebook. There's 2 Facebook pages. There's the one for the demonstration.
I was actually talking to there's a lecturer in Cork UCC. She's organising it. I'll send her on her name anyway.
Is it her?
I'll send you her Twitter but we were just talking over DMs. But she's organising it. She's an academic. But yeah, pleasure talking. Hopefully get to see you Saturday. Right.
I'll be around anyway.
Hey, see you, man.
Thanks, Reen.
Right.